just been working on this v1.02 update, and what I've added is to the target is a billboard. Okay, so let's have a look at this. It's without billboard facing camera. It's got this target, this marker on here, which is going to be a triangle. Okay, and it's now rigged up as a billboard. So rather than bringing it to the foreground, easiest way. This is quite new. It's kind of like a first iteration. I'd have to restart it to make it not a billboard. Do you see what I mean? If you change these, it'll probably blow up. Actually, it's not too bad. But yeah, it's only really going to work. You'd have to restart, like stop. There's a few things. I have to change this to target. Stop using billboard. It will now perform as normal as it was previously. This is without being a billboard. So we've got this marker. Scaling's different because I'm using this target offset. So I'd have to change the target offset was tailored to the offset data was tailored to the billboard. If I put billboard, that's not actually going to do anything now because you need to stop and start. It's not something that's going to work in editor runtime. But you can see it's in the foreground. It's in front of him. It always comes to the foreground. It goes through objects. You know, it's like those quest markers you can always see wherever you are. You can switch that off with occlusion if you want to. But the difference with a billboard is it doesn't go through objects. Slightly different. The only difference actually on these target BB and target, which are here, marker and marker BB, the only difference between those is the scaling. It's got marker has this panel 5 scaling, and marker BB has panel info BB01. Now, it's interesting. I mean, it's almost like for the billboard, it doesn't need a scaling. It just needs one number. So at the moment, I've just rigged it to use the basic distance adjust, okay, which kind of mimics billboard distance anyway, but this number's used slightly differently there. This literally just affects the scale. So when we start it, rather than, well, it just goes there, hold on. Rather than being on the display canvas like these pop-ups and the health bar of the one guy we've still got going, is the marker BB clone. This scale here, 0.0.1, that is now set by that basic distance on the scaling. So rather than having to do that, we could just make it a billboard scaling a single number. It doesn't really need a whole scaling data. I might change it so that you can additionally scale it, if that makes sense, via the scaling data. Okay, but the billboard itself, just the way it's rigged up as being on top of that object, it kind of fades in the distance, comes back. We might notice at the moment we've not rigged it to look at the camera. So there's billboard face camera. Okay, so you can see now that this billboard is always going to face the camera. It can look weird at some angles. This is what I think is a bit weird actually about billboards. It's a very standard billboard facing the camera. So it's always basically facing the camera, whatever angle you come at. That's the other thing. When you're not using the billboard, the usual display in HUD Manager is to, always be completely upright, straight, looking at the camera, whatever angle you're at. I mean, the billboards make more sense at distance, you know, then they kind of get that, but it's always got an upward tilt, this one, unless you've got the camera dead level. So what looks weird to me sometimes is the tilt up or down of the camera. You're kind of looking up at it, looking down at it, but you know, that's all there now, so that's totally possible. The other thing I was going to try and demonstrate live on this video is to look at maybe changing the NPC, just what goes on to change the target into a BB one. The first thing is the health, so we go to Display Manager, find the health, and it's this widget, dual player SA, so we duplicate that, we'll call it BB. I'm not even sure what SA means. It's BB. And then, like I say, the only thing we're really changing on these is the scaling. So it's the same as that one. That was that becomes a BB01. Okay, rather than the panel 05, which the markers were previously. So we've made that a BB01. We then also add a reference to that here, health BB. Display Manager, and then we it's pretty easy to drag in SABB to Display Manager into that slot for health BB. So we've got that now. Let's have a look. I'm not sure. Oh, whoops. You've also got to put the reference onto here. That's health BB. Okay, so it may be too big or just look weird or be in the wrong place, but that's what could go wrong. Oh, also, what's completely gone wrong, it's just made a tiny one in the normal way. We've got to use billboard. It's going to look really weird if it doesn't face the camera, so we'll just face the camera. And it won't look really weird, it just won't be facing the camera. There'll be like a health bar on top of him. Yeah, it's a bit big, like this. Now that's always facing the camera. It's interesting that it doesn't look too big. I mean, it is too big. I think for that to make sense, it has to be about half that size. This health bar that we now want to put to 05. That's about right, that's better, I think. So that's it really. I mean, the numbers are still popping up. It doesn't make a lot of sense making these billboards. What the billboards have kind of like an automatic occlusion. So you can see there, we're not using the occlusion. You yourself can stand in front of it. It doesn't look bad on health bars, to be fair, to use a billboard. But a lot of games I see that if you look at the boss mobs, whatever, any of the NPCs, you'll see that it brings that to the front. So we can compare to another NPC who's still got the old one. All right, we'll have to fix the scaling to duplicate, rename 05, and then make this number 05. Okay, so now we'll have two of them, one of which is a billboard and the other one isn't. Still coming out too large, isn't it? That's the normal one. You see it goes in front of him. Because we didn't switch it, did I? I didn't actually put that into the widget. I didn't set this to BB05. Okay, I think we may have got the size right though. It probably is about half. So to do with a different way of scaling. One's scaling in pixels in the normal display, and the other one isn't. It's in See, that's the normal one. Comes to the front of the screen, it's on top of him. So you can always see the health of a mob, even if you're in front of their health bar. Whereas this new one, this is now using the billboard. So, I mean, at a distance they look very similar. I want to run a performance test. I reckon the billboard's probably running quite well now. Because of the way it's architectured, that they're not all using a single update on each billboard. But it's if you want that effect, you can see through the player, you can always see a health bar. Or you want this effect where you just can't, it's always blocked his health bar. That's a main difference, and obviously it's automatically occluded. There's a few other things maybe different, but whichever one you like. It now has that functionality. That'll be in the update 1.02.